Steve, how do you reflect on today's game?
Could have got a draw out of it in the end. Had a couple of good chances. They're a good team. That's the bottom line. We knew when we were coming here today it was going to be, we were going to have it all on. I don't think we had the rhythm that we had when we stopped nearly a couple of weeks ago. So we didn't quite get into our rhythm enough today. And on turnover of the ball, we needed to be a bit more composed in moments. But I think what has happened a little bit, and you worry about it when you come into a game. You know what it's like if you've been a player. You come into the game, and you've got to get your second wind in. And when you've got a lot of them, I know it was the same for them, but I just felt that was where we were at today. We always know it's a tough game here. I've watched a lot of their games, and they've dominated some teams here, some good teams. I don't think they've done that to us today. They've had a few opportunities, but at the end of the day, we could have scored them right at the death. Keeper makes a really good save from JT, and a couple of other moments. But all in all, you know, the lads gave everything today without being as sharp as they have been.
So you feel that the layoff hasn't really helped?
No, I ain't going to blame that because they had the same, so it makes no difference. So I'm not going to say that and then somebody else can go and say, yeah, but they had the same. So I know they had the same. I just think that's where we were. I don't think. So I thought Bickers started the game sharp, for instance, and I thought JT didn't. And then I thought JT started the second half better, and Bickers didn't. So you know, that was probably that really. You know, I thought all the lads worked hard today, but there wasn't that sharpness about them. I thought Isaac wasn't sharp today, and there's that that comes into it. And if you don't play sharp when you come away to a good team like these, you know, they've got some really good players.
Your favourite thing, the wind. I mean, it was quite swirly and it was causing a few problems.
Yeah, I know, but I think it caused a few for them as well. So I wouldn't say. Yeah. I actually thought it was more of a swirly wind than a wind that's blown the same way, if you know what I mean. So I think what happens when you've got all four corners of the ground open, it's what happens. So yeah, I think the wind was swirly. I actually thought it wasn't a bad game of football if you're looking at the conditions. Pitch was lovely, but yeah, all in all, I wouldn't blame the wind on today's halves.
And George had a really good battle with the two centre halves a couple of times. He nearly got in, didn't he, in that first half, especially?
Yeah, I think he needed. I thought. I always talk to the strikers about taking the ball on the up, and after it had bounced and gone through, the ball was on its up. So if you make contact with the ball on the up, you're only gonna put it up. You know, we needed that to settle down. Maybe another touch from him, but that's easy when you're on the touchline because, you know, all you're doing is you're watching it and you think, oh my God, what a great chance. But until you've been out there, you never know quite what that moment's like. You know, George would have loved to have scored, wouldn't he? So the fact that he made perhaps a different decision to what we all thought he had doing nothing, that's part and parcel of the game, really.
And then Ben Stevenson's second half, that shot that just went wide in.
One of their players got in the way. I was just hoping that shot was going to nestle in the far corner, and then when the net didn't move, you know, like I said, one of them chances, and you know, Jordan Thomas's chance at the end. They ended up changing their fullback because JT was getting a lot of joy against him in that second half. So yeah. I
mean, Paul Cook's made 4 changes there, and that must be do you take that as a bit of a compliment, thinking he's had to change it all because of the way that you were in the game?
Maybe. I'll ask him in a minute. I don't know. I thought that the game we were okay. I thought we were the stronger team in that moment. You know, when I looked at the game, you think if it stayed like that and we could keep the intensity going or try and get the intensity a little bit higher, maybe it would have, you know, paid dividends for us. But, you know, I think the lads have been... I can't really have a go at them today for lack of effort or anything like that. I really can't. And, you know, I'm disappointed for them because they've gone out there, we've lost the game 1-0. They've done a lot of running out there today, and what happens is after that little break, it's a little bit of a culture shock to you. So, yeah, I mean, I just said, you know, what we have to do now is we have to get home. Been another long day, early start this morning for all of them. We've got to get up, get home, rest, recuperate, and get ready for Monday.
Good to get Moile out there for a few minutes near the end.
Yeah, I mean, at the moment, I think when Mo gets on the pitch, I have to be time dependent on him. You know, we're not looking too much more than 10, 15 minutes at the moment for him. You know, so that would be a big 10 minutes for Mo. He's been out a long time. We will rest him, recuperate, get him up to speed as much as we can between now and the end of the season. But, you know, if you just, let's say in 2 or 3 weeks' time, he's got a bit more sharpness, he'll get hold of that ball at the end from Josh Davison.
Got on one, didn't he?
He'll get hold of that, and what he'll do when he gets it, he'll score. That's what he will do. But it's been great to have him, honestly. For what he's cost us today, and the deal we've done with Wrexham to bring him and put him on here is an absolute no-brainer. So we're pleased to have him. We're going to look after him. He's a great kid, settled in really, really well. Listens, hasn't come from Wrexham and thinks, okay, you know, he's up in the Championship and, you know, what a big club they are and how great they're doing this season. He hasn't been like that. He's been as humble as anything with anyone, and he's a really good kid, and we've got to make sure that we look after him. You never know. You never know what happens in the future, do you?
Thanks very much, Steve.